Hey, we're live. Welcome to the KOBK Podcast. I'm Damien. This is George. And I want to thank everybody for joining us live. Also, want to thank you if you are listening to the recording. Much appreciated. Just remember, like and subscribe, all the other nonsense, and then you'll get, notified when we get going. You see, we've got a new flag behind me, New Jersey. We don't like you either. Um, yes. So good stuff. Tom is checking in. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Good to hear from you as always. So one of the things I want to talk about this podcast is weapon retention. But I do want to. There was some breaking news. There was a shooting in a subway in Brooklyn a few days ago. It's a 60-year-old man popped some gas or popped some smoke, I should say, and started firing on a subway train. I believe he hit about 13 people. Gentleman was apprehended. He's like a 62-year-old guy. Don't know why he did it, but the fact is he did it. And we are as people are trying to assimilate back to a post-COVID life, we're dealing with these things again. And I think they're actually worse than they were before because, you're like we said when we're talking about the all the stadium fights, people are not they're losing the ability to interact with human beings, or they've lost it, and we've got to gain it. We've got to gain it back.
Well, what we have 2+ years of social distancing, right? So
Right.
exactly, people are losing their damn minds whenever you're getting close. I mean, I had it just the other day. I was going in to pick up some stuff, and I'm just walking down, and our mask mandate was lifted, so I'm not wearing the mask, and she was, and just the look as I'm like walking by her, and the step away, right? People just don't want to be close. They don't know how to react when people are close to them. It's insane.
Yeah, they said if you don't train, or if you don't do a job or have experience in something where you can like where you could how do I put this, where you're at risk of physical harm. Okay. Let's say you're a forklift operator. The forklift could malfunction, something can fall, and you could crush somebody or crush yourself. You're operating a bandsaw, you're operating a lawnmower. Obviously, I mean, you're in, you're putting yourself at, you've got to pay attention to things, and the risk is injury or death.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to be a cop or a firefighter or a soldier or someone in security or a bouncer to be put in harm's way. I think those people just have a lot better time adapting to risk of health situations, where regular people who don't go out, who work office jobs, who haven't really experienced any sort of contact, or let alone violence, so when they've been, even again, these are even intelligent people. They talk about like mass psychosis. When you're getting these messages over and over again of you could die. You're seeing body counts every day of people dying, and this is something that is just foreign, and something we don't pay attention to, because people die every day. People die from illness every day. So you've got to, we're getting these things, and we're seeing these numbers, and these numbers are like, oh my God, 600 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Yeah, those are people die every day.
Yeah.
So now we're hyper aware of it. So when you're not wearing your mask, it is translated to a lot of people that you may try to infect me or kill me. And we can argue about how, right. You can argue about how effective, the masks even are. So that's where, all this, as we're getting past this, all this information is coming out. And at some point during this, and it's not like the virus wasn't dangerous. I mean, all viruses can be dangerous. It was, now we're realizing, the overreaction and, what has happened to, the psyche of the general public, and they're scared and they panic more. And now, everything is life or death. And especially when you're not used to dealing with anything where you're physically at risk, that's a big deal for people. And one of my favorite sayings is like, your worst day was your worst day.
Yep.
Right. So when my kid was, when my kids were children, yeah, sure. When they're little kids and they lost their toy, they're freaking out.
Yep.
That's the worst thing they could freaking ever imagine. But but now it's, whatever, I'll find it. I'll lose my toy. So, people don't have this tolerance, and and everything is life or death. And they've become hyper aware of how fragile life actually is, which is something we all know. Then it becomes, their violent reactions become justified. So there's this record. We're going to look at this video from the shooting, and want to just look at one, people's reactions, two, the types of injuries people sustained. And keep in mind that nobody died. Everyone was treated for their injuries. And you have to understand the reality of a gunshot wound. It's not the movies. You don't hit it. You don't fall down. Most people, when they get shot, their emotional reaction to it, justifiably so, is holy shit, I got shot and I'm bleeding. Oh my God, when you see you're leaking all over the place, again, other than hitting a major artery or a vital organ, you're going to survive. Most people don't realize they're shot until after they're shot. They can feel the impact. They can feel burning sensations. Once your body goes into shock and you react to these things, now it's, holy shit.
Exactly.
Right? So let's, let me get this and share. Share my screen. Chrome tab. There we go. Okay, so. All right. So here we go. So just as a point, smoke is made for confusion, and you don't know if that's tear gas, if that's Cyclone B, right? You don't know what that is. So you want to get the hell out of there, or even if it's a fire. So smoke is a very useful tool in active shooter situations. Okay, see the one person that's injured here, that's being carried, that's being walked out. And then let me just take a look, because here's a little bit more.
So it was just was it just minor injuries then, for the most part?
Yes. Leg. So everybody on the platform. So you're hearing that announcement. Everyone on the platform, get on the train. I'm like, screw you.
Yeah.
Right. Again, you want to get the natural reaction is to get as far away from the shooting as possible. Right. So
obviously, yeah.
Getting back on the train where the incident took place. I don't think that's solid or realistic.
I know. But it just goes to show, man, you never know.
You never know. And I guarantee that's not a bulletproof backpack.
100%.
So
thanks for watching our,
when you, so anyway, these are the things that are happening. Again, they apprehended the guy. So it's like, what do you do when you're trapped?
Exactly.
And the first thing you do, again, obviously, when I go into the city, I got a bulletproof backpack with me, just because of that.
Yeah.
The backpack, as most bulletproof vests, protects your vital target areas. Yeah, obviously, if you don't get hit in the head, most of these, most fatal wounds are coming into the torso. In this instance, there were a lot of leg wounds. Nothing that was life-threatening. Didn't hit a major artery. At that point, you're tourniquet. I've got tourniquet. I've got some first aid stuff with me, and and you would put the tourniquet above the wound and put the C-locks on it or whatever blood clotting things you have in your kit, and that's it. This is all very inexpensive stuff to carry with you. Yeah, I get. There's always the people that are like, oh my God, it's a tragic. Yeah, it's who the hell wants this to happen? But it happened. So what are you going to do about it?
Exactly. It's reality, right?
This is the world we live in. We want everything to go away. And yeah. So, 100% true. Just posted. Yeah, we were never shown these images. Instead, we're told about Africa and Russia. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
We're worried about this nonsense. But then, this is the stuff that's happening. And keep in mind, New York has the strictest gun control laws in the country.
Yeah.
So, even if, the best thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Right? So,
Yep.
But the least you can do is have some protection with you and have a plan.
Exactly.
And if you're trapped on a train, like you remember the story of the guys that were on the train from France that bum rushed there are a few soldiers. It's probably like 6-7 years ago, maybe even longer. There's a movie about it. They rushed an active shooter on the train. I mean, that's really if you're trapped with somebody who's popping off rounds, and you have a choice between being killed or surviving. You got to attack the shooter.
Yes.
If you can't escape, you got to attack the shooter. And I know I'm saying that. I say that with all the, gravitas that is required. Like this, is not something to be taken lightly, but it has to be something to be considered. And there's certain people that will rush towards danger, and they should be heralded as heroes. And there's certain people that will, and the majority of people will run away, which is fine, right? That, no one's telling you to do this. But again, if you're given a choice, whether you're going to survive or die, what are your greatest chances of survival? Right. So, I mean, this is what, regular people, going to their job, trying to figure stuff out. When something happens, your first is like that oh shit moment. You don't know if it's firecrackers. You don't know what's going on. Then you see the crowd disperse, and now you see the panic, and then people. It's nuts, man. Excuse me. It's nuts. So again, they apprehended the guy, but again, the takeaway is though, people got shot. No one died.
Yeah.
So the chances of you surviving a gunshot wound are high.
Yeah.
Are high. So, so anyway, welcome back to work, everybody.
Jesus.
And yeah,
I'm going to jump on the subway now.
Right. So, let's talk about weapon retention. So I want to share this first story with you, and then we'll get some techniques to look at. And then we've got one of ours. So this is more about what caught my eye. This is more about this death row inmate that's down in South Carolina. He's been on He's been on death row for like over 20 years. So what happened was in 2001, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, Spartanburg, North Carolina. Guy goes in. So you've got two guys. You got one guy who is working the register. You got another guy who after a shift is playing video games. He's a witness.
Okay.
So he's in the back store as witness. This guy comes in and went to goes to the back of the cooler, grabs some beer. He's coming back up, and then he sees there's a sack of here's a boy. He sees there's a sack of money on the behind the counter to go in. It was like $1,400. Demands it. The clerk, who's 42 years old, veteran, obviously a gun owner, draws a weapon on him. And then the weapon was taken away from the clerk. And then he was shot and killed. And then the eyewitness was shot while he was playing the video game. And then once he got shot, he just laid down. He pretended he was dead. The guy gets in, the shooter gets in his pickup truck, takes off. They apprehend him later. At the end of the day, he killed the guy over a beer and like $1,400. So, you think that when you have a firearm, and the misconception is that it's going to be a clean shoot. You're going to have enough time to draw your weapon, aim, fire safely. In this case, the weapon was already drawn. He took it from behind the counter. The reality is altercations just don't start like that, especially if you're a civilian. Cops have enough problems with this. And cops are responding to a call. They're expecting some shit. You're coming in, even if it's a routine traffic stop, is a life or death proposal. It could go south at any time. You don't know who you're pulling over. So cops have problems with this. Civilians and cops even, get some training in this, but a lot of the training, as we're going to show, is hit or miss at best. And I've pulled up some decent stuff. I didn't pull up some of the nonsense, that's typically out there.
But it's interesting, as you were just sitting there talking about that. So the guy who came in, he didn't have a weapon at the time. It was the
correct.
Isn't that interesting? So the guy obviously had no intent when he walked in to kill anybody at all, in theory.
Right. Correct. Right. Because he wasn't armed.
Yeah. And one could argue that it was self-defense. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get into all of that. But when you think about that, it's like, this is why I have this conversation with people. They're like, well, I'll just use my gun if something bad happens. Well, I'm assuming that this vet probably had a lot of years of experience working with a firearm.
Yeah.
Sure. Assuming, right?
At least for a certain period of time, for sure.
And just here comes this thug who had no intention, and then, wow, weapon of opportunity, right?
Right. And he didn't have a problem. He was comfortable enough picking up the weapon to stop the robbery. So You're thinking it's, again, we're just, reading tea leaf, but it sounds like a crime of opportunity. The guy came in, saw a bag of money. He's like, fuck it, give it to me. Then he saw the weapon. And now when a weapon comes in play to the perp, now his life is in danger.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. When somebody sees you're carrying a firearm, now they know the potential for getting killed just bumped up to maximum level.
Yeah, which is obviously going to increase their level of violence against you.
Right, exactly. And there's a lot that is, to the thinking that he has a gun, I'm going to get it before he has a chance to pull it out.
Nah.
Right? And we're of the mind, if you're going for my weapon, your intention is to kill me. So if you're carrying a firearm, understand that now you're playing in this, you're swimming in the deep end.
That's right.
And you've got to do whatever you can to protect that weapon. Because any altercation, and altercations don't start from 10 feet down range. They start in a conversation. They start with an argument or disagreement. that escalates. So let's say, you get in someone, you pull into a parking space and you don't see this guy, and this guy comes out of his car, and he's fired up because you cut him off. You didn't even see him, and he's a monster. Now he sees now he gets in your face. Then he sees you've got a weapon. Now he's fixated on a weapon because everyone will be. That's how it works. And while it's tucked into your holster or around, it's on your waist, it's right there.
Yep.
So now, that being said, there's a couple. First, let's take a look at some of the holster options. So you've got, I've got two holsters here, which they're not locking. So these are like probably the least secure holsters you can purchase. This just drops straight out. But you've got to take it. You've got to take it right from the top. It still has a trigger guard on it, so it's not, so you're not going to accidentally, put your finger on the trigger and shoot yourself in the leg. Right? And your hand, when you're taking it out, your finger is on the frame, right? So one, all right. This is in the waistband holster. The other one that isn't terribly secure either is the one that I'll put in the backpack. It does have a snap up top, and it does have Velcro on top. But even if you think there's a problem, and let's say you unlatch it, there's still a little bit of a trigger guard here, but again, it's coming out easy. So these two are probably the least secure. If you're carrying a locking holster, there's a lot, now it has to be pulled up at a specific angle and in a specific way. So, and you should be practicing that like literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Oh, you're going to have to. Yeah.
I practice my draw all the time, and I don't even carry anymore, but I'm planning on moving to a concealed carry state in the next few years. Mm-hmm. So yes. But again, it's always a good skill to have. So, it's not like you're not looking at, I guess my point is, you're not looking at now the holsters. You're not getting this old pancake holster that's going to fall apart when somebody grabs it. I mean, these things are pretty sturdy. Even the nylon one, it's not falling apart. But again, if this is attached to my backpack, so when I am carrying it, this is a tactical rig. So when I'm carrying it, it's on my chest, and I'm taking it out. It's not, I've already deployed it. I've already, there's already a situation where, there's a deadly force situation. So it's out. So that's the context in which I use this. I don't carry this as a conceal unless it's concealed in my backpack. So it's not something that would be readily accessible. And they're going to see by the time when I draw it and it's out, I'm drawing my weapon.
Yeah.
Right. So that's that. So we've got a couple of techniques that I want to show. And again, we'll show that, the good, the bad, and the ugly about these things.
Okay.
We're going to do some like in holster weapon stuff. Again, let me get some volume on
Today
this.
we're going to be looking at in-holster handgun retention.
All right.
Holster, which is level 3. There are other holsters that are also quality holsters that will help to where your gun is just not easily taken out, even if you're unconscious. So that's the
right. So this is what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. Right. So there's that holster's locked in. That weapon's locked in.
First thing you could do from kind of giving yourself every advantage.
Right.
But you have to have techniques that work very well for this, because when someone's trying to get your gun, statistics tend to show that they're not getting it because they're going to resell it somewhere, right? They're getting it because they're going to cause you harm.
You're going to be the first victim of your own stolen gun.
Exactly. So when you're talking about a weapon retention situation, all bets are off, and it's go time, right? So some of the techniques I've seen involve.
So listen to what he said. When your weapon's involved and it's weapon retention, it's go time. All bets are off.
Yes.
Okay. So that's got to, just carry that with you through this.
Taking the person down. What I don't like are techniques that show where I have to do something different based on how you grab. Whether you grab with your left hand, I do a technique. You grab with your right hand, it's a different technique.
Again, totally agree here.
Yep.
And heaven forbid you grab with both hands. Now I got to do something altogether different because when
that's because these are martial arts based solutions, and they're all based on learning specific defenses to specific attacks. So yeah, 110% right. I'm rolling with this guy now.
Someone starts tugging on your gun, whether it's from the rear, from the front, or whatever, even on the ground, you just need to be able to respond with one technique that you can just default to and just go caveman on them until you can establish control of the situation.
Okay.
Yep.
With you so much right now.
100%.
Say that you grab with your left hand first. First of all, what I hate, this is the way we all train. I hate to train against this because if you're really trying to take my gun, there's no way there's going to be all this room here.
Yes.
You're going to be driving me back. You're going to be your head's going to be down. And quite frankly, that nullifies some of the techniques that I was taught. One of them is to strike here and step back and in effect a takedown.
Right.
But what happens is when your body is oriented this way and realistically you have two hands trying to get the gun out, now how do I do that, Frank? I can't, you know what I mean? I'm left with nothing. So whatever technique you choose has to take into account this realistic type of approach. Quite frankly, he may drive you back to the point that you're against the wall. So you have to have those techniques, or you may end up on the ground, but that's for another segment. So I like this particular technique because it works regardless of the grab. Grab with your left hand first. First thing we have to do, obviously, secure the gun down in the holster.
I'm okay with that.
Yep.
And widen our stance to lower our base.
Not bad.
What I like to do from here.
He's still far away.
Yeah.
Right? So.
What's right here, his head. I'm going to knew that one was coming up. I'm going to give him a strike there with my palm.
Yes.
And from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across this.
No.
No.
That's not all bets are off. This is where
and strike. In this case, it's the interior of his elbow.
Again, he just talked about not having enough space, right?
Yeah.
And he starts with striking the head because, guys, when you start hitting somebody in the face, chances are he lets go of this anyway.
Well, and he's basing this, and the problem is he's basing this on one strike, right? One strike, you're going to create fucking distance. Well, no, probably not, especially if you don't know how to fucking hit hard, right? So he was doing so well. He was doing so well, and he just fucking ruined it here.
Doing awesome. And again, if you can't hit him repeatedly in the head correctly, there's no way you're going to be doing this.
That's right.
So if you can't effectively strike somebody, which is the simplest thing to do, why not just keep beating the crap out of him?
Well, yeah, when he said go caveman, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Caveman doesn't stop after one hit.
Right. No. Caveman break.
That's right. And then drag it by its hair back to
hair is that's a tall order here.
Sorry.
As I strike that, I'm going to move my right leg out of the way. So that will look like this to try to break.
Why'd you do that?
Okay.
Why'd you do that? And this guy just goes down like a sack of potatoes, because that's why he has no intent. Yeah.
His hold of the gun.
Shit.
Now, he may fall to the ground, he may not, but what we're looking for is that clean separation there. So as he grabs, again, I'm going to come down here, strike, boom, and I'm coming here to knock his hand off the gun.
What are we doing?
And that way you get that clean separation, and you can come back, draw, and then.
All right. So.
This is why I drink.
Yeah, man. They do so good up until a certain point.
And you know what? This is what you talk about on, I think, every call that we've ever been on is, you get people who mix good and then immediately add bad into it, right? It's that mix of good, bad, good, bad.
Right.
Like, oh.
Right. I can't. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
I can't. And it's, I just.
And he even explained at the beginning, guy's going to be pushing into you, pressing you back, right? Forward pressure against you. This idea of I'm going to create enough distance to do that kind of shit off one strike or even multiple strikes right off the hop when you're off balance is not very good. It's not very good at all.
Right.
Oh.
So, okay. So let me show you. Let's show these assholes.
Is the Gracie's doing it?
No, he'll say.
Hey,
All right.
these
All right.
fucking guys.
So here we go. From the close range, we're treating these just as we would, or from Module 4, grabs versus hold, whether he's grabbing a wrist, whether he's grabbing your shirt, or he's grabbing a weapon. Same rules apply. Basically, it's going to be single and double hand grab. If she grabs my firearm, I'm just pinning. And the pinning is just going to be something that's instinctual. But now here's the thing. Don't go searching for it, because the most important thing, he may be grabbing this and punching me right in the head. Okay. Then it's lights out, game over. Okay. So we've got to react as fast as possible and start bringing the fight to him as quickly as possible. So we're here. He grabs. It's that punch stop. Tiger claw. Notice we're stepping in now and taking ground. It's that edge of hand. And I get to a safe distance. As soon as you shift momentum, it's your decision of what you're going to do next. Continue the attack or retreat and draw the weapon. Okay. So, yeah. Again, it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And when we're talking about this, you're hitting. We're doing 3 times. It's multiple times. You're going to be just like I say. You're going to determine what you're going to do during the course of the fight. Your natural reaction is going to be to pin that thing, one, but then you got to go at them.
Exactly, and it's continuous until they're no longer a threat. Simple.
Right. And at some point they're gonna, again, like the grab, and especially if they're grabbing both hands on the weapon and their hands are down. Yep. Their hands are down. So you're immediately attacking them. Even if that shoulder stop could be just a heel of hand to the face immediately. Doesn't matter. So you're just doing it. And this is the same defense for single hand grab. Right.
And in theory, they're going to be so fixated on the weapon that it's like beating a distracted person. It's actually much more beneficial for you that they are fixated on the weapon. The problem is most people themselves get fixated on their own weapon, right? So now you got both of you.
Right, and this is why you train.
Yeah.
So, you just check the hand and attack the man.
Yep.
Let's see if I do this anymore. Now, if we're in a situation where he's got us, grab, if we're doing a two-handed grab, or we even have the weapon drawn and we're fighting over it, we're going to do that shoulder stop, knee stomp. Okay. Withdraw the weapon. So again, a weapon holstered, he makes a grab for my weapon. I immediately attack him with a punch stop. Chin jab or a tiger claw or heel of hand to the face. Edge of hand. Okay, he's not going to be holding on to it much after that. Okay, so again, you're looking at, stopping his momentum, stopping that body momentum, stopping him closing the gap, and reacting.
And that's if you can, because let's call a spade a spade. At the time in which you're doing that, you've caught it semi-early. He's reaching in to grab it. If you've gotten to the point where he's already closed distance completely on you and grabbing it, it's a little bit of a different ball game. It's going to suck a little bit more, but the same principles are going to apply. Continue to beat the shit out of him. Pin and beat him.
So Steve writes, recently had somebody try to grab his weapon. He was at a check stand. As soon as he pivoted, he let go and moved, which is reactive. He had a good holster, right? And that's really it. He says, what happens if the guy still hangs on? Dude, then you beat the shit out of him.
Right.
Then you continue to hit him. Right. So he turns around, you feel somebody's hand on your weapon. You're going to, check your weapon and turn and attack him. Attack him. So like you said, your holster is not going to disintegrate. And now he's like George just said, he's at a supreme disadvantage because both his hands are down. He's not protecting himself. And as soon as you start clocking a dude, natural reaction is going to be to react. they're not gonna, even if they're on whatever drug you can imagine or emotionally disturbed. I mean, they're gonna react. They're gonna react.
And you may have the benefit of some nice fucking juicy targets too, because if they're bending down to try and get your weapon, I mean, you've got the brain stem area to hammer down. I mean, you got a lot of potential,
whole bunch of stuff.
targets to finish this quick.
Right. I mean, we go through all these strikes in Guardian weapon retention. We go through them in, module 4 for these, it's it's the same types of techniques. And these are the ones that we start with module 1 too.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's there, right? And it's just a matter. So what do you got to train? You got to train to hit. Got to train to hit.
Yep.
Right. And when you're training, even, you practice, you got your weapon holstered, check it, bang, 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 and just go. And just go in those bursts and go aggressive, convulsive, and violent.
And I think what you just said there is the biggest problem with, traditional martial arts and even a lot of reality-based self-defense systems that are out there. They're so engrossed in trying to teach these kind of cool-looking defensive movements that they fail to train the principle of just hit the motherfucker. Hit the fucker hard. Right? That's what you need to be doing, not be worried about all the other shit.
Right. 100%. Now, hold on. I don't know what happened here. I lost the one that I had. Shit, where'd it go? Where'd it go? So again, these are, especially if you're a civilian, carrying, you're gonna be running into a lot of this shit.
Yep.
And this is real stuff. And that's why, it's important for every gun owner to have these skill sets.
Absolutely.
Because this is reality, and you've got more of a chance of somebody in the civilian world grabbing your weapon than in law enforcement.
100%.
Again, because who the fuck are you, right? You're there by yourself. You're not, responding, or the cavalry's not coming, because, if there's an officer involved in anything, everybody and their mother's coming.
That's right.
That's it. You're on your own. So, you're forewarned, my friends. So, let me get this guy. Okay. All right. This guy's going for it. Nice. Okay.
What's up, America? Neil here.
So the shirt all of a sudden concerns me.
Crazy jiu-jitsu, yes.
And again, I do like what a lot of this guy has to do, but let's just.
Thanks so much. Today I'm going to start a brand new series that's been in high demand. People have been asking me a lot about self-defense. Self-defense is on the ground, weapons retention, bladed weapons, that sort of thing. So we're going to go ahead and start that today. It's going to be very exciting. Those of you that follow my channel, you know that I'm a big proponent of concealed carry. So a lot of this today, which we're going to be doing, weapons retention. If the person doesn't know you have a gun, obviously they can't take it from you. So that's kind of the first layer there. However, we're gonna look at this worst case scenario. In addition to that, your situational awareness is going to be your other big factor there. But nobody, I don't care what your training is and what organization you're from.
Totally agree.
100%,
Yep.
100% of the time.
We say this all the time. If you're not aware, there's really not a system that's going to help you.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're walking around, again, you have to. If not, you're going to get taken.
So we're going to look at it as if those two elements have failed, and so now we're going to have to go hands-on. So good news, I found a willing victim here, agent. We're not in a security or a law enforcement scenario where it's super visible and you're going to be interacting. Go ahead and put his hand here. So the preferred method and a non-preferred method. We can't just have This is the only way to do it, and if it doesn't work, you're screwed. So we're going to look at non-preferred first. So Agent L, he's going to go ahead and put his hand here. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is I want to capture this hand as hard as I can.
Okay, with you.
Super important we have a quality gun belt because this is where I'm driving down. If he's able to get this out before I can get this on here or my belt breaks, I'm in trouble. So right here, first thing I want to do is hold on to this tightly. Now, I said this was non-preferred. Non-preferred is if I turn into Agent L here. Now, what you'll see a lot of times taught is that they're going to take their elbow and come towards the face.
Yeah.
That's all well and good. The problem with that is you got one chance to make that right.
Disagree. You've got him pinned. You're holding on to his hand. You've got multiple chances to make that right.
Yeah.
Screw that up. You're in big trouble.
No, you're
Let
not.
me show you what happens when this goes wrong. If I were grabbing Agent L's firearm here and he were to come across and he misses me, right now, this is a perfect situation for me. I would love to be in a self-defense scenario where I'm here with a person. Because from this point on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in tight. I'm going to
boy.
call a gable grip where my hands are coming together.
I mean, now we're wrestling.
Exactly.
I mean, so this is like, if this happened, now we're just kind of going down this path of.
Now we're wrestling the Gracies. Here it is.
I mean, this is a low body lock, right? So I'm like, okay, so the guy's gonna wrestle you. Listen, we get a little freaking hokey because what happens is, if a guy's going for your weapon, chances are it's just gonna be fixated on the weapon, and if you miss and turn your body, guess what? His hand is off the weapon.
That's right.
So now you're in a fight. Yeah, dude. And guess what? The weapon retention worked. Because now your gun is not in play and you're grappling.
Yeah, you still have your weapon.
Yeah. So, I don't see where, again, these guys think about this shit, but they don't really think about this shit.
Yeah.
So he's going to take them down and they're going to wrestle and then it's a fight. Yeah, whatever. Okay, that shit happens.
As I suck in, I'm also going to drive my shoulder towards him.
Yeah, it's a low bear hug, dude.
I'm only using about 20% power. And again, this isn't going to be step by step.
20%. How do we measure that?
In addition to that, my knees are going to come in tight. Okay?
Yeah.
So once I suck in, I'm just going to drive.
Okay.
It comes towards your face naturally without any training. You have a natural flinch and put your hands up type of deal. So there's a good chance that he might somehow deflect this. And I don't get a good strike on it.
Bullshit.
No.
Here's the thing, and this is what happens with these guys. It's like, if he does this, I do this. But if he does this, if he grabs your weapon, and this is good, it goes for all self-defense, he's not going to do it in a way where he thinks you're going to counter. So if he thinks you're going to strike him, he's going to do it. Maybe you just go for the body lock right away, right? Yeah. You're not, if it's, it turns into, well, he does this. Well, if he does this, I do this. I go, he's not going to do that. Yeah. He's not going to do that. What he's thinking about is getting your fucking gun and kill you.
He's fixated on that.
Yeah, he's not like, look, oh shit. And again, even if he puts his hand up, who cares? You're still hitting, creating space and turning into him. He's going to let go.
Yep.
He's going to let go. And again, you got a good holster like Steve's got, which is what most of them are now. You don't got to worry about it. You don't got to worry about it. It's now you're in a fight, which is what we always say.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Which puts me in a bad situation. So what I would tell you to do is, as we rotate now, we'll start from the beginning. So he goes and grabs my gun. I drop my weight. Instead of coming up, I would prefer you come down. Okay? Now,
not opposed to that either, but we'll hit everywhere. We're hitting elbows. We're hitting low.
Yep.
I'll pull up Eddie.
Key moment here. When you do this in practice, obviously, if I do this, I'm going to stop. So I make the decision I'm going to stop here. I put the brakes on. In reality, this looks a little silly. In reality, when you go to train this, you're going to be going all the way through.
In reality, when you train this, you better be hitting something.
That's right.
Because the only way that I'm going to stop my arm is from the impact to his body. Get your weapon out. So you can actually try this, but anytime you have an impact, okay?
This doesn't work. Don't do it. This doesn't work. Don't do it. This doesn't work. Don't do it.
You feel it's like it has a tingly effect, and I'm not hitting very hard.
This doesn't work. Don't do it.
With some force,
don't waste your time.
This hand comes soft. So now we're going to look at the preferred method. If I do this properly and I have the opportunity, once I go ahead and drop my weight on here, I'd like to actually rotate into him going this direction. Now note, this holster is not an
You hear that
ideal
comment
outside
of if I do
waistband
this
security holster.
properly,
Normally we'd have
if I
pants
do
in
this
here.
properly.
It's really
Right.
tight.
Here's the thing about rotating into him anyway, which is not a reality. It's going to be a rear bear hug situation. The guy's going to grab and body grab you.
Yeah.
So he's going to body grab you and grab your weapon. So you're going to be locked up, and he's going to be trying to secure you to fucking get that weapon out. So this space here doesn't exist. None of this works. None of this works.
So if you actually try this, make sure you do this slowly, because by rotating this very quickly, if you trap his hand in there, you could cause serious damage to his wrist. So
Good.
just a side note there.
Right.
Again,
But again,
I feel him down
It ain't gonna work.
drop my weight.
he's going to be on his back. He's not going to
Yep.
be letting him do this. Guy's fucking on you. He's been trying to pull your weapon out. He's bear hugging you. He's doing all kinds of crap to you. You know, this is from space. Again,
As
know
I
what
do that,
this
I'm
is.
going to rotate. Again, since I'm a nice training partner, I'm going to let go of his hand a little bit here. You feel that?
I do.
If I didn't, this would not be good. And so as I do that, I automatically break away from him, and I'm now at the side. I can do whatever I want to do from this point on to create space and come out. Kind of a preferred, non-preferred. We'll just roll
Yeah.
both ways. I feel
you know,
my
Dave
drop,
writes.
non-preferred.
Dave writes great. He's like, they always
If I
assume the
have
bad guys
my
have the same
three,
technique as
and I do
them.
what I got to do from here.
Yeah, it's
The
like
preferred method
the
here,
ego's
if
like
I
it's nuts,
drop,
man. Again,
rotate, and again,
they look at it
actually, come
into
over
this
here for a
like
second, just roll back,
match
lean over here. I want
fighting
you to
shit where
look at
I
his
do
hand.
this, he does this, I
I'm
do
gonna
this,
move
he
my
does
hand
this.
away so you can see
It's
what's
not what it
happening to
is.
the wrist.
This is not.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
Again, I'm dropping my weight, and as I'm rotating,
Okay, I can't. I gotta
He
stop
needs,
it.
he needs to go back into the gym and roll around on the mats with the Gracies.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I like Gracie. I like jujitsu, but it's like it's just not. I don't know what that has to do with whatever we got to do.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
don't know.
transfer over to weapon retention very well.
No, I mean, look, if you're rolling around on the ground with a guy and you've got skill set, you know, yeah, you could
Bonus.
probably get away with some. But again, it's based on even being able to do that. But it's based on years of training.
Yeah.
But even then, you know, there's a lot more efficient ways to do that. I'm gonna pull up. Let me see. I'm gonna get. See if we got Ed. Nope. Let me just see if this is. Right here. All right. Nope. I don't want this one. Hold on. I should have had this one. At the ready. Should have had it at the ready. Here we go. Let's see. This is Ed. All right. Let me just set. Oh, this is front assault. I'm a knucklehead. There's too many. I have too much content.
Too much to rip apart, eh?
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna get one where Eddie's teaching. Here we go. Okay. And let me just escape. All right. So this is our solution to this, and Steve, this goes right to your situation. Okay. So Ed is a detective. He teaches at the local academy.
And like I said, I think the real application for you guys is when somebody realizes that you are armed. That I think that could be a likely scenario. If you're in a situation, somebody goes to grab you. Okay. Okay. So let's do it from the rear. This is obviously this would be a real bad thing to happen to a police officer against civilian. If they realize maybe your shirt creeps up, it happens. I carry concealed weapons sometimes. You reach and your shirt creeps up and now it's exposed. And you get some psycho who wants to grab it. Now, I'm doing the same thing. So he grabbed.
And that's Steve, and he is a psycho.
Yes.
Same thing. Boom. Now, the technique that I like to do first here, or that Damien showed me, I think it's perfect, shown in the academy all the time, is that elbow spike right from here. I'm grabbing it with two hands here, and I'm not sure if this is the best way to do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is what's going to happen. I know
Exactly.
Yeah.
do this. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab it and maybe set a base. Bang. elbow spike, hit him, and if you want to twist the spine and then do your assault.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. You know, even when we get into where you going?
Real simple. This is just going to be an oh shit reaction because if you don't see this coming, I mean, if he knows what he's doing, this will be gone. And then I guess you do your other technique too, where you just try to run him over, because that's worst case scenario.
And if he's really intent on taking your weapon, he's probably going to knock you out.
Yeah, from the back. Yeah.
So then, guess what? Your troubles are over.
Yeah.
Right. So if a guy really wants to take your weapon, he may just hit you over the head with a brick.
Yeah.
You know, from the rear. So yeah.
Or that one fucking video that we did with the baseball bat.
Nothing. Not defend. You know, there's not defense to that. I can't.
Right.
All the programming and meditation in the world is not going to make us be able to sense something unless for some reason the hair stick up on the back of your neck, which they do. You know, when somebody's looking at you or somebody's following you, and you know somebody's got their burn. You know, you feel their eyes burning on you. Yeah, but other than that, like if you don't notice it, it's not happening. Okay?
Now the other scenario too can happen also. You're in this like this. This happens to cops. We're messing around with the guy, okay, and he shuts me to the side, gets to my back. Now all of a sudden, even though there's other cops here, now we got a handgun retention scenario. And now you get the same move. Here. Okay? And I'm going to keep skinning that elbow until that hand comes off.
That's it. That's it. You know, you don't have to do anything else. Don't have to do anything else. So, you know, while we're getting all of these complex, well, do this. How you turn is how you're going to turn.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or left. If you turn right, you're still going to chase him and start attacking him. So, depending on where he is, it doesn't matter. You're going to have the same reaction.
Yep.
Right. And you're going to do, so if you turn weapon side or away from, if you're towards your weapon or away from your weapon, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, you know, I turn the weapon side, I'm attacking, I'm going. Turn the other way, boom, 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 boom. It's the same skill set.
Yeah.
Right. And like we talked about it, like if somebody's really seeing you're carrying a weapon and the guy's just kind of, again, if they really want it, they're just going to take it off your unconscious body.
That's right.
You know, so yeah. Again, you know, when we're carrying, you know, it's a big responsibility. You know, there's responsibility for how you use a weapon. You know, when you think about the point in which you're going to be able to use deadly force, unless it's an active shooter situation where you're at a distance and you can get cover, draw your weapon. Again, we're not talking about that. Okay, we're talking about you going about your life, interacting with other human beings who are, for the most part, nice, but there's a small percentage that are batshit crazy.
Yep.
And don't give a shit about you. And then they see you have a problem with them. You never know who you're up against. So you got to assume that this person has intent, right? And is thinking about, you know, doing to you what you want to do to them. So, you know, we go through these things and you're looking at, you know, these guys that like go down, you know, because this, what if he blocks this? What if this nonsense? Okay. They're coming at you with a plan. They're expecting some resistance, but all they're doing is they're expecting that their approach is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Not like, you know, like, oh, what if he blocks? What if he does that? No, because if he thought he was going to hit you, if that guy, getting back to my bearded buddy, if that guy grabs your weapon and expects you to hit him in the elbow and reacts enough where he puts up his hand, guess what? He's not going to attack you that way. And he's probably just going to, if he expects that you're going to fight, he's probably just going to knock you out.
Yeah. You
know, pick up a chair, a piece of, you know, some canned beans and bash you over the head with it. Right. You know, so again, the insanity with a lot of this stuff, you know, it's like, you know, it's the same. It's all self-defense. It's all martial arts. You know, they get way too complicated. They overthink it. And it's, you know, it becomes a game of chess. You know, when you're rolling around in a jiu-jitsu match or wrestling match or, boxing, MMA. I mean, yeah, it's a chess match, right? I'm
Yep.
like, you are, that is, working on my position. I'm distancing. I'm, looking for, creating openings, all that stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where that belongs. But, when we're looking at self-defense, it is just bang, 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 bang. I'm like, you do not, they're coming at you one way. You're like, oh shit, keep your balance, stop his momentum, increase yours, and then just start putting some hurt on him as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had one more. I'm not even going to get to it. I think we definitely covered a lot today.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so if you're carrying a firearm, if you own a firearm, check
Learn
out
how to
Guardian.
protect it.
You got to be able to defend and protect it. Too many people just don't do this. It's not in any CCW course. It's not in any NRA course. And it's still, you'll see like martial arts are like all over this. Again, they're getting into like controlling the offending appendage and taking a guy down, thinking that he's just going to latch on there and hang on. Great, dude. You've got his hands pinned. You got hand free.
Yep.
Make him pay. Make him pay. That's it. I'm done.
That's it.
So, anyway, I don't know. What are your plans for the weekend, man?
Easter weekend, my man.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I got a basketball tournament, and then then we're seeing some family. That's right.
Yep.
Easter weekend. So everybody, enjoy the holiday weekend. If you're celebrating it. If not, enjoy tomorrow off.
Yep.
Courtesy of the Jesus people.
That's right.
And thanks for joining us again. Always appreciated. I've got guys asking us. So if you're looking for training outside the U.S., obviously we have everything. We got someone from looks like Russia or Eastern Europe is asking us, do we have training centers outside the U.S.? We've got instructors all over the place.
Yep.
We do all our stuff online too, so it doesn't matter. So what happens is it's like you sign up, you get into the modules, get an elite membership, just go, and then we'll pair you with an instructor who can take you through training, live training, one-on-one. As things are opening up, we're planning on doing a live seminar, but obviously don't wait till then. We have guys that will coach you through it as you work through the video. So the plan is you get on, you go through the videos, you go through your training, and then you get with your instructor like once a month or once a week, however you want to do it. And then you go through some training. Yep. And it's just like we're training with you. The only thing is you don't get to smell us.
Yeah.
And you're right on it. And if you get somebody to do it with you, great. Mm-hmm. Then you have a training partner. But again, like even with this stuff, like even if you went balls out and trained with us, 6 weeks you're going to be know a lot of stuff. After a year, you could teach it.
Yep. 100%.
Again, that's training on the regular, getting certified, going through everything. We have everything. So It's not just this day and age, you don't have to travel, you don't got to find somebody. We've had guys in Europe, the instructors come in and out of activity, from time to time. So I don't know, I can't really keep current with how active everybody is, but we got guys in Germany, we got guys in UK, all over. So you can hit us up, you can email us, customer service, we'll forward it over to George, and then, we'll get you all set up. Okay, everybody. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I'm Damien. Have a George. Till next time, train honestly.